Hello! All right. So, hi Abel, hi Val, hi hi Phoebe, hi Sarah. How is everyone today? Hey Dan, hi. Hey Patricia, hi Ellen. Cold. Tell me about it. How cold is it for you? Dramatic doxy? What is that? Oh no, Abel. Being sick is really bad. I have a good tip for not getting sick. Staying indoors. Oh, that's awesome, Ellen. I love the farting around and refueling the mental batteries. About 4 degrees. We have an expression in French. I don't know what it translates to, but it basically means that it doesn't take much to bother you. It's just petite nature in French, but I don't know if it exists in English. I'm good. Taxis just shut short for Dashin. Oh. Here in the Caribbean, the colder is like 22. Here in Canada, the colder is like minus 40 degrees Celsius in the winter. Yep. Yeah, if you don't get in contact with other people, you don't get in contact with germs much. Oh, poor baby might be... Yeah, possibly. If you mean it as a bit of a way to poke someone. But yeah. It's a bit like, you know, when you guys are gonna relate, poor Dan, but you know, when some men complain about a men's cold, the men flu it's called, but it's basically just a cold. And it's always like the end of the world. And we're like, it's just a cold. You'll be fine. Oh my god, how do you people live with winter coats actually, and boots, and hats, and mittens? That's how we manage. Hey Mikey. Forgot to say hi. Men flu. Yeah, the big bad men flu. Buckets of snow this week, no fun on the roads. Ugh. We've had some snow in Montreal too, but not that much. I'm always glad I don't drive when there is a lot of snow. Hey son! Qu'est-ce que tu fais, Peko? Mais oui, viens-t'en. Viens-t'en. Hold on. Maybe. I just have a shirt and a shirt pant. Yeah. Men flu is terminal. Okay. Yeah, sure. I bought a new pair of winter Sorel boots this year. Not sure if they will live up to their hype. Yeah, I haven't had Sorel boots in forever. I used to have them when I was a kid. fun thing, I spent part of my life in Sorel. So yeah, Sorel is used to be. It is a city. It is like a city, a suburb somewhere. And I had Sorel boots then, but I don't know how they managed to pass the test of time. Like, if they used to be made locally with like things that are well made, that's possibly different than if they are made now in China or something like that. Same happened with Chuck Taylor shoes and Doc Martens. Pickle. Normally we don't get a lot of snow until January, but we've had several big snowstorms. It used to be like that over here too. Like there was a couple of times I remember, maybe 10 years ago, when there would snow for Christmas at the very last minute. And we wouldn't have any snow until then, but now we start having snow in November. Hey Lana! Hey Tsukabu, hi! The vintage pair with the leather upper. Yeah, I hope you'll be fine with them. Really. I have memories of Sorel boots, you know. You play... The boots you have as a kid, they're like a plastic sort of base, and then there's like something a bit softer, and it goes quite high up. I should have drawn this lower. And you have like some sort of lace, but this has an insert in it. You have basically kind of insulation insert in there that's basically the same shape as the boot, but a bit smaller, so it fits in there, and it's in like wool and whatever insulation thing. And the issue we would get as kids playing in the snow with these is that you never quite know how deep the snow is. So say you jump into the snow and it's quite deep. If it was deep enough, your butt is French for boots. So your boot would get stuck in the snow. And when you would pull up your feet, either everything would stay in the boot. The insert, your sock, usually like at the toe part of it, and you would sort of be barefoot in the snow. Or you would take out the whole insert and the outer part of the boot would stay in the snow. So yeah, just that to say that a lot of fun memories of trying very quickly to put your boot back on so that not much snow gets in there. If it's made away, it's generally crap. Sadly, it's way too true. You can buy Solo Wear boots now. They're made by the people who used to make Doc Martens. Huh. Doc Martens are like super trendy right now. I see them on many feet. And I can't help but think about how much pain there must have been at some point to break those in. Over boots? Haven't seen that. I've seen that a lot on office workers. Butt boot thong flip flop. Yeah, that's quite accurate actually. Hey Tobias. That happened to me for sure. So many chilly feet. I know, right? And the thing about the socks always ending up like in a bunch at the toes. Oh my gosh, that happens so much. Hey Misha, hi. The new ones from Doc Martens aren't great. The upper is a lot mushier than it used to be. Yeah, the only thing I've heard, I wanted Doc Martens when I was younger, but they were considered too expensive then. And at the point where I could buy my own, they were no longer made in the US. And what I heard from people is that they are much harder, much stiffer, so breaking them in is really, really painful. people who bought Doc Martens back then, they still have them today and they still work perfectly fine. Yeah, but I mean, I'm gonna draw shoes today, I guess. Okay, this is really, really off the top of my head, so whatever, but let's pretend that this is a Doc Martens boot. But I keep saying but. There, in the tag. The part that is difficult to break in is this one, because it chafes a lot at the ankle and the heel. The fact that this part is hard is fine, because you don't really, unless it's too narrow or too wide, like not the proper width, you don't get as much issues from walking there as they're like, from what I understand, of course. I never had any, but I've met many people who were struggling with their brand new Doc Martens. Can confirm I have scars. Oh my gosh, from Doc Martens boots? Whoa. Hey, Steve! Hi! Bunched socks at the toes is the worst. It is! Especially in like winter boots when you're all geared up. Like you manage to get your winter pants over the boots like this, so that it seals here and less snow can come in. So if your sock like bunches up there, it's just gonna stay there. Too bad. First pair back in the 90s. That was a good time to buy Doc Martens. 80s and 90s, I think. Lots of saddle soap and oil to soften them. Oh. That's good to know. Like, I wouldn't have had any idea how to soften leather, but it's just... I don't think I would buy Doc Martens now. I almost always buy like 2 brands of shoes. I buy either Tom's or New Balance shoes. Mostly because with both of these I don't have to break them in. It's not very nice, it's not vegan, it's not whatever friendly. But I bought my fair share of boots that were problematic. Now I don't really want to struggle with that. But yeah, Doc Marten boots are leather, so they're never gonna be vegan. Yeah, Lena says I have friends who wear Doc Martens only, but they aren't very comfortable. Yeah. It feels like they could be if the leather softened a bit, but I don't think it softens a lot. Hey, 6 are my work kicks now. Yeah. Good comfy shoes. Like, this is kind of the thing with this cover. Like, I know it's leather, and I know it being leather doesn't mean... Well, it means it's not vegan. But the thing is I'm always split with certain items. Like, am I better to get a leather version that will last me forever, that I won't have to replace, or that won't break down as much? Or should I buy multiple, like, vegan-friendly options, but I will have to rebuy many of them, and that's gonna create waste. So I kind of haven't come up with like, what's my stance on this. Oh, Doc Martens have vegan shoes now. Well, that's kind of the same issue. I don't know what they use as sort of vegan leather, but it's probably won't last as long as actual leather. I wear my hiking boots instead of snow boots. Yeah, if you don't have like too much snow, that's perfectly fine. My friend just bought 2 pairs of New Balance. They are the shoe for people with a white foot. Oh. well, I don't know if I have a white foot, but I just like being able to buy a pair of shoe and I put my feet in it, and I don't get blisters, I don't get anything. Leather biodegrades and lasts longer. Vegan options tend to be made from petroleum products. It's a catch-22. Yeah, that's a bit what I kind of... I'm a bit stuck on this. I guess we're talking about boots and the fact that leather is definitely not vegan, but that things that are made from leather usually last longer than things that are made from not leather, like vegan leather or any kind of man-made thing. I think the only man-made fabric that I found that lasts a really long time is Cordura. It's C-O-R-D-U-R-A, I think. They make like backpacks and stuff with that. And I have a purse that is made from that, and I've had it for 13 years and it's still going. Pickle. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. For something like for shoes, it's a bit more difficult to choose properly because shoes are gonna wear down more, definitely. Unless it's really specific. Perhaps Doc Martens will last a bit longer, but in general, shoes they get a lot of action. So, but for something like a book cover, or a pencil case, say, or a purse. Ooh, always walk bare feet until snow fell. Yeah, that's hardcore. Perhaps that's viable if you don't live in a really dirty city. Yeah, that's Pecco. She's being super annoying. Ew. Mikey. Mikey says, I just heard from the doctor that 80% of people don't wash their feet in the shower, and that's why there's so much foot fungus and warts, etc. Because only 20% of people take the time. Yeah, I think a lot of people assume that, like, the feet have been wet, so they have been cleaned. Yeah, definitely gross. I kind of have to really pay attention to the heels of my feet, because, you know, when it gets... hold on, I'm trying to think of the word. Callus. When the callus sort of gets too hard and it sort of splits and bleed, that's not great. Now, it is really interesting, but it's like the mental image of this is like depressing, I guess. Poor neglected feet. They do a lot of the work. They deserve a good cleaning. Alright, I guess I should try to find something else than boots to draw today. Boots, feet. There's a... I do put... I've tried many things. They don't all work. But I try usually to put some sort of balm or oily stuff. Like, I have, you know, sleeping socks. Kind of booty socks that are just like this, and it's cotton, so I can wash them, but it's basically so you can put cream on your feet or balm or whatever, and it doesn't put the oil all over your sheets. Puss in Boots. Oh, that's so cute. That's a good idea. Yep. All right. Just think of it for a moment, a bunch of strangers talking about feet. Well, we're not all strangers. We're like a bunch of friends and colleagues and whatever. Like, this is not all new people. Many of us know each other, so there's that. And we technically, all of us have at least one foot. So there is something that we can all share experiences about, because we all have at least one foot. Technically. Most people probably have two. Oh, I saw your glasses, Tsukaboo. They're pretty neat. I quite enjoyed the Puss in Boots movie that DreamWorks did. There is so many absurd jokes with the Humpty Dumpty. Like, I did not expect that, but they really had fun with Humpty Dumpty, and they made so many stupid things with it. Not strangers, but some stranger than others. Well put. Yeah, we all have a mouth to put your feet in. Oh man. My best example of putting one's foot in one's mouth came from Mr. E once. And I still laugh about it today. He was basically rambling about how a certain first name was, like, he didn't like it, and he was really into... Oh, there's a couple of instances of that. Oh my gosh. But he was like, that name, I really don't like it. What kind of name is that? Blah, blah, blah. That was a long time ago. And the person in front of him turned around and said, "That's my mom's name." And I laughed. I'm still laughing today. Why am I... This is not the kind of hat that Puss in Boots wear. What am I doing? I might need my phone for this. Hold on, I gotta go get my phone. Tu dis bonjour à tout le monde? Il dit bonjour à tout le monde. Hello, Pico! Salut, poulette! Oh, tu vas tout faire tomber. Pro. Viens, Pro, il par ici un peu, là. So adept at putting my foot in my mouth that I can bite my own butt. Oh. She is a little chicken, isn't she? That's basically what poulette means. Come from the arts for the purse. Why is that being held for review? Hello! Oui, oui. Tu veux des flatouilles? Un petit chat. I got an idea. Pro. Putain, viens faire pro dans le micro à la place. She's super happy. T'es toute contente. Es-tu un petit chat? Es-tu un petit chat? Oui, hein? Oui, t'es un petit chat. She is a little cat. Hey, Otto! You're just in time to see Peko. I don't think you can see her paws, but she's doing the paw thing when cats are happy. Elle est beau. Elle est belle. She's beautiful. She is beautiful. Qu'est-ce que tu fais, mon raton? Beaucoup de trucs, hein. Un peu le bordel. She's purring so much. Qu'est-ce que tu fais? Ah non, tu manges pas les pinceaux quand même. Viens par ici. Oh. Tu veux-tu peur dans le micro pour Otto? Hey, on horseback, hi. Hey, Lee. I should bring Peko on more often. She brings in all the cool people. So we're even more cool people by now. Because all of us are pretty cool, I would say. C'est bon? T'es bien? Attends, on va essayer de montrer ta belle petite face. This is not a good angle for this camera. There you go. Bon, qu'est-ce que tu as vu? Péco. Her goal is to sniff everything. Oh, what did you want to say, Otto? Ouais. You are your own camera cat. Aww. Hey, baby. Hey, baby. Où tu vas? I don't know what she's doing. Peko. Allez, allez. Allez, allez. Mom, no. Mom. Ah, t'es tellement goofy. T'es tellement goofy. Just trying to... Yeah, my desk is a mess, I'm sorry. Went to the preview of Jumanji: The Next Level. How was it? Did you like it? Mom, don't stop petting me. Left your head off. Oh, that's good to know. You never quite know what to expect with sequels to movies. Especially when the original Jumanji is, what, 20 years old now? C'est quoi ton plan, Pex? Yeah, it's pretty hard to draw when you have a kitty on your table. Qu'est-ce que t'en penses? Qu'est-ce que t'en penses, Minette? Yeah, Robin Williams was in the original Jumanji. I love that the new one has The Rock in it. I love The Rock. Dwayne Johnson. Oh, I saw... Otto, you remind me, I saw Justice League just because you told me about Ezra Miller in it. And he's the only good thing in the whole movie. It's so terrible. Oops. I hope I don't know why it does that, but it really changes color when I pet Pecco. Maybe I should stop. Maybe that's distracting. I love anything with The Rock and Kevin Hart combination. Qu'est-ce que tu fais, Pecco? I heard The Rock has signed on to deal with DC TV recently too. He's growing as an actor. Yeah, he's kind of good. He's sort of like the new Arnold type actor. I did tell you he's the only good thing in it. You did. And that's the only reason why I watched it at all. But he is really good in it. Like, he's worth all the bad stuff in that movie. Pecco's plan is to camp out where the pets are. C'est bon, c'est là que tu t'installes, toi? I am cute. I can do whatever I want. Hey, Stephen, hi. Oh, I really love Ezra Miller. I've watched There's Something About Kevin, which is a really, really peculiar movie. It's not a cheerful, good movie. It's quite weird and down and depressing, but it's also quite interesting. Oh, the first movie I really, really enjoyed with The Rock, I think it was something called The Rundown. It's such a silly movie. Alright, so this live stream today is going to be Pecco being pet. I think the camera doesn't act up as much when I pet her this way. I haven't seen the remake of Walking Tall, but the Rundown, that's the one where they roll down a hill for like forever, isn't it? And there's like trees in the way and stuff. That's such a funny scene. Yeah, it is a Caturday Livestream, a pretty legit one. Hein? T'es bien? T'es contente? C'est toujours la vie, hein? It's so hard to be a kitty. So hard. Perfectly valid. Aw. I think so. Oh yeah, The Rundown was a good movie. Qu'est-ce que tu fais? You want my chair? Huh? Hold on. Let's set up this kitty. Tu veux aller là? Tu veux venir ici? Qu'est-ce que tu veux faire, Pico? Non? T'es bien là? Non, je suis bien. J'ai pas envie d'aller nulle part, là. Et... Minette. I wish you would take my spot. Tu veux pas prendre ma place? Tu veux aller ici? Je vais mettre l'autre caméra sur toi là, tu vas encore être la star du show. Grande question. You considering all the options? Ah, there you go. There you go. Vas-y, ma belle. Là, oui, t'es toute contente. Hey, Minette. Maman donne un donut. You are so precious. Attends, on roule par ici. Puis là, tu dis, mais voyons, qu'est-ce qui se passe? Allez, tu vas être encore la star du show, Pico. Il n'y a pas de problème. Et voilà. Et voilà, t'es la star du show. Regarde, toute ta caméra à toi. Que tout le monde peut te voir. Puis faire, oh là là, qu'elle est jolie. C'est mignonne. Ouais, c'est bon. Vendu. Ah non, je t'ai donné un choc. Je m'excuse. Ah, crap. Oh non, t'es sur mon fil. All right. It's not Sailor Moon, it's even better. Excuse-moi. Ah, t'es cute. Je vais te la redonner après le blanket. Tu veux pas que les gens y voient? Non? C'est ton blanket? Yap yap. Je vais juste leur montrer. Tu veux pas? Bon, ok. Ok, c'est bon, je vais te laisser ton blanket là. Non, maman, arrête! C'est bon, c'est bon. It's Sailor Meow. It's not Sailor Moon, it's Sailor Meow. Yeah, you gotta negotiate with cats. She wants her blanket, I guess. T'es tellement cute. Eh oui, t'es toute belle. Yeah, they really did miss an opportunity. Stupid thing. I'm trying to Google search Puss in Boots so I can get pictures of the kind of hat that is usually associated with Puss in Boots. Like, it's gonna be like the movie. It still gives me an idea. Roughly. Can you guys see Pecco's head, or is it cut off by the framing? I'll make it, hold on. No head, Pecco. That's unbearable. On voit pas ta tête. C'est mieux comme ça? Aww. It is indeed the best Caturday if everyone has their pet. How is Neuron doing, by the way? Still find it really funny that Pecco wouldn't let me take the blanket. She's never shown any interest in that specific blanket before. She showed interest because it was there, probably. I can see why they put Puss in Boots is here in the hat for the movie. Something's not right. I just had an image of Puss in Boots having his boots stuck in the snow. I just thought it was funny. Just had a really stupid idea. Like the Canadian, French Canadian version of Puss in Boots with Sorel boots. And the belt is we call them ceinture fléchée. I don't know what it is actually. And instead of having a sword, it has it's a bit like a vuvuzela, but it's kind of a plastic trumpet we have for the Winter Carnival in Quebec, and we usually call them just carnival trumpets. Puss in Sorrels. Wearing a plaid shirt too. I don't know. I would, but Puss in Boots doesn't generally have a shirt on. I guess I could make it. You know, he uses the shirt as a cape. So he has like this plaid shirt. It's a cape, and he has a beaver hat. Pico, really? Good thing this is not a kid-friendly channel. Yeah, it is really weird to think he has the boots, a hat, sometimes a cape, and a belt with the sword on. So it's like, how am I supposed to interpret the logic of this? Because if he needs certain clothes on, does that mean that where he doesn't have clothes he's naked? Or how am I supposed to rationalize this? Well, at least she's washing, like, she's technically washing her belly. She's not, really cleaning up the naughty parts. Cartoon logic, yeah, that's basically the end word for it. What is it, Otto? she's working towards it, you think? Because she's not washing the unless I missed it, but she's washing the outside of her thigh. She's washing her leg. Oh, yep. Nope, belly still. Tail. Belly. Other feet. Other foot. Toe beans. It's okay who says, Mom and I will be sitting down to eat dinner, and guess what the cats will start doing every single time. Yeah. I am not surprised. Speaking of cartoons, if you were right, I'm glad you found a waterproof one. As they say, you clean the dirtiest thing last. I think if I ended up without eyebrows, I would draw stupid eyebrows. But then again, I don't have to be outside much. So that's the saving grace of that. Oh, that's a good point. She heard Mikey talk about the foot fungus and cleaning the feet. So she follows the advice. Gotta make sure your tail is pretty clean before you put your nose in it to keep it warm. Hey, welcome back, Patricia. I remember the actor who played Wormtongue in Lord of the Rings had to shave his eyebrows for the role. And his wife said a few choice swear words when he had to go back and reprise his role. Is that Brad Dourif? Well, I mean, it's not like Brad Dourif. That's not like his first role where he plays something a bit odd. I think he was in the Dune movies, wasn't he? It is a really odd look. It is really peculiar, but I don't hate it. I think it's interesting because it takes away a lot of the expressiveness of the face. So it sort of gets much harder to read a person. I really love Brad Dourif as well. I didn't like Deadwood. That's the weird thing. Really didn't like Deadwood. But he was good in it. Oh, poor kiddo. I think Jenna Marbles did that at some point. She shaved off all her eyebrows and then she drew silly things as eyebrows. You see it a lot with drag queens. Some of them will shave off their eyebrows, but there's a whole process of gluing them down for those who don't want to shave them off, and then draw the actual eyebrow much higher than they would be. That has enough eyebrows for two, so the average... Started to watch The Expanse. What is that about? Oh yeah, Lord of the Rings. I'm very biased. My favorite role was, I have two. I really like Legolas, to no one's surprise, and I can never remember. I think it's Pippin. Like the idiot one of the two. The one who receives an apple in the face and thinks it came from the sky. I love him. Right. The idiot one. Well, I'm sorry, but he is an idiot with a heart of gold. Literally. He's such a good kiddo. Oh, yeah, but he's not in Lord of the Rings. Thranduil is in The Hobbit. But yeah, woohoo! I mean, I really like Legolas. I know that they did silly stuff with him, but that's kind of what I like. It's just so out there. It was Aragorn chucking the apples, but Pippin looks up at the sky in a way that is like, what? It's raining apples? And I was like, okay, that's my guy. Hey, Cleo, hi. I haven't read the books. No, I have very little Lord of the Rings knowledge. I have movie knowledge. So that's worth. Hey, Jill, that's worth what it's worth. Do they no longer make the kids' sorrel boots that we had as kids? These all look so fancy with like fake fur and whatnot. And they all seem to be pretty low, like nothing that goes as high as I remember somewhat. I guess I'll have to improvise. I've read The Hobbit. I have, but I haven't read The Lord of the Rings. Oh, that's a good idea. Vintage sorrel boots. Yeah, Frodo then poor Frodo. Eep! All 4 books in 6 days. Yikes! That's a good marathon. Oh yeah, that's kind of what... Like, it was something like that. Not necessarily... I don't know if you guys can see. Not that yellow necessarily, but... You had the plastic bit at the bottom and the just tube of fabric for the rest. With the lace at the top that no one would close. I kind of like these two. These are pretty much, again, not that color, but oh yeah, with the laces at the bottom, yeah. Oh man. Well, I'm looking at kids' boots because I really want to reprise that feeling of sorrel boots as a kid. Oh yeah, with the lines. Wow, memories. Kitties that snore, that's pretty cute. Hey, Anya! Do you guys remember what was your first DVD box set you bought? I think it was the first Lord of the Rings movies. Does that count? Because like the first movie is like a 4-6 DVD box on its own? Agatha Christie is the most translated author over Stephen King and William Shakespeare. Who would think? That's surprising. Ooh, whoa. Lord of the Rings movies with some sort of Gollum bookend. Nice. Oh, I tried watching the Murder on the Orient Express movie. That's on Netflix now, and even if I used to read a lot of Agatha Christie when I was a kid, I couldn't make it through that movie. Just, it takes forever to get anywhere. I'm like, bleh. What about first video box set? Does that include VHS? Is that what you mean? Yeah, if it is VHS, it's probably Star Wars. That my parents bought for us. The movie is aesthetically pleasing. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I completely agree. I'm glad you think the same. It is really beautiful movie, but it takes what, 45 minutes before something actually happens? And I was like, "Bah!" Yeah, VHS. I think we're all old enough. Most of us, indeed. I sure am. Some of us are even older than that. Yeah, I had beta tapes when I was a kid. Whoa. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it before, but when I was a kid, there was a TV like in the basement. The basement was basically the place where all our toys were, and there was a TV there with a beta player, not VHS, beta, and I had 4 movies on there. I had Dumbo, I had Sleeping Beauty, I had Top Gun, and I had a Michael Jackson. What's the word? Bio movie type thing. Those were my 4 tapes that I had, and they were on rotation pretty heavily. Funny thing though, for someone who has seen Top Gun so much, I don't remember much of it. I remember the songs though, but those are pretty hard to forget. Oh, Betamax, yeah, that's it. Yeah, you would try to catch movies when they were on TV and try as best you could to record them on the VHS or Betamax. I don't think we ever called them Betamax here. And in my family it was always Beta. Most of my Top Gun memories include the roller coaster at Canada's Wonderland in Toronto. It was a good coaster. Is it still there? Or is it gone? Dan says I had Disney movies, Barney and Budgie the Helicopter on repeat. Well, those are kind of... You are somewhat younger than... Well, I'm gonna take me as a reference. But... So I guess that's the content that was available to the generation just after me. Anyone remember cassette tape? Well, I think that... Isn't that the... Aren't cassette tape the thing you would put in the radio? It is, but I think it's been rebranded. Well, yeah, I'm not surprised they would rebrand it. Who knows about Top Gun as much anymore? Yeah, I also tried to record songs of the radio on tape, and you would always have like part of the jingle they would use, and I would hate when they would have their stupid radio jingle overlap the intro of a song, because I was like, I can't I can't record the song properly if you put your stupid jingle over the intro. And I would also get really mad when they would play the radio version of a song instead of the actual full-length version of the song. It was so annoying. So I still have a couple of cassette tapes like that are like my own mixtape with bits and parts of radio stuff and jingles in there. The announcer talking of it. I know! was like, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Oh, I have a cassette player and I have a couple of cassette tapes too. I still have my, I think the first cassette tapes that I had as a kid that was not stuff for kids was Def Leppard. And I don't think I have those anymore. I had a couple of local things, but pretty much the only tape I kept from that era is OK Computer by Radiohead. Yeah, it's pretty funny to hear the jingles again. And it's kind of weird because if it was a mixtape that you listened to a lot, the jingles became part of the song. So you sort of expect the jingles to be there. It's really, really funny. Well, I think it's funny anyway. VHS had decent audio. Yeah, it's pretty good, but the thing is that it's the more you use the VHS tape, the more the audio gets loses a bit of quality, I think. The Top Gun coaster is still there, but they didn't renew the branding, so now it's called Flight Deck. Huh. Too young for this. I still have a couple of my old tapes that I can't sort of bring myself. I have one tape that I don't know if I still have it, but back in the days, if you wanted anime stuff, you had to buy on VHS, and they had to, I don't know, smuggle them, I don't know from where, but they were so expensive. Basically, you would have a VHS tape with like 3-4 episodes on it, so 3 or 4 times 22 minutes. And it would be like $30. And there is one series that I bought the first tape, and that's it. So every time when I see that tape that I bought, I remember back then being so, like, do I buy it? It's expensive, but I really like this show. What should I do? And when I bought it, it was such an affirming moment. And then I think back on it, and now you have like the full show on like DVD or Blu-ray for like $20. It's insane. And it has subtitle too now. Like back then you had to choose if you wanted like original audio with subtitles or dubbed versions or stuff like that. Now it's just all on the same thing, and too bad. I need to get a converter for audio cassette. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, when the iPod came about, that was a pretty strange moment to sort of, because it went really from iPod to, you know, you went from cassette tape to iPod, and it was so different. And it was so surreal to, instead of going to the store to acquire music, which is something I used to like, I don't want to say loiter, but I used to go to, the shopping mall was really close to my parents' house back then, and I would go to the few stores that had music, and I would like look through CDs, and there were a couple of stations you could listen to CDs, and I would listen to them a lot, and that kind of stuff. And now it went from having to do that to decide whether or not you want to buy an album to just buying it online and putting it on your iPod. Oh, I had a minute disc player. But mine was so weird. I could never get it to work properly. It had such a hard time putting the pauses between songs at the proper places. Because it was supposed to do it on its own. I think I still have it somewhere. And it would, sometimes a song would start in the middle of a song and end in the middle of another song. Like, according to the markers of what is the start of a song and what is the end of a song on the mini disc. Oh, Sam the Record Man. Mine was either Future Shop, because Future Shop had these stations where you could listen to albums, and HMV. What is the current alternative to burning CDs? Well, you just download the music and you put it on your phone. My dad is pretty much still into the... My dad really loves vinyl, and he loves like repairing... Oh yeah, Spotify. My dad is good at repairing old electronics and all of that, and he has. I was able to ask him if he had a spare cassette player, so I still have a cassette player on the other side, a couple of cassettes. You know, the alternative rock compilation cassettes from the 90s. You're not old, Dan. You're one of the youngest in here. Stop it. There's an old CD burner like the size of a loaf of bread on the shelf next to where I'm sitting right now that we're using as a bookend. I had one of those too. And it was a one that you could put some special CDs in there, and it would write on the top of the CD instead of having to find a marker and write what's in it. Yep, Otto, exactly. Jesus, Dan, don't make me punch you. I'm with Otto there. Oh yeah, it was a really fancy CD burner. I feel old when I realize that when I see like someone like a new artist or something, like just as an example, I recently listened to Billie Eilish's album, which is pretty good in my opinion. But then I read a bit on her just to figure out like where she's from, what's her deal, and I think she's like half my age, and I was like, yeah, pretty much. Thing is that actual age seldom feels like what you actually feel like. Shut up, Dan. Shut up, Dan. Dude, my 20th high school reunion is next year. I'm not gonna go. I'm never gonna go. I didn't go to the 10th once because I was like, I don't really care about these people, you know? Like, the people who were important to me are still my friends. And the rest of them can, I don't know, get together. They have no idea what's coming, do they? But, like, I feel it's safe to say that everyone in chat, like, our actual age doesn't match. I think we're all around the same, I don't want to say mental age, I don't like saying that, but, like, we're all on the same level. Like, nobody here is, like, super duper different. So I think that's the part that I like. It's like the actual number doesn't matter. We're all having fun, so. We have the same mentality. Which is the part that I really like. I mean, I enjoy doing silly stuff like I'm old, but I don't really like. I don't feel. I feel my body is aging, so there are things that come up with that, but like I just feel like me. I don't really pay attention to the number, really. Jill says, I asked my dad years ago when he started feeling like an adult, and he told me he'd let me know when it happened. I like that. I really like that. Yeah, there's not a moment where you wake up one morning and you're like, I'm an adult now. Time to buy a house and have kids. You know, it's not like that. When your face starts dropping, well, I have other bits that are dropping. Does that count? I'm glad you can relate. I realized that the only moments, and it doesn't happen a lot with our community, but the only times when I am aware of my age in terms of the fact that I've had more years of experience than possibly other people is when I see certain behavior in often younger people. Sometimes I'm like, I see certain people and my first analysis of the situation is always like, they must be in their 20s. But that's basically the extent of it. Last week some friends and I discussed that there are sticky things to glue on your skin to keep the drooping things up. All you need is tape. I've dropped bits that I didn't even know could drop. Oh. That was well said. Hey, Holly. Hi. I didn't see you before in the chat. Yeah, there's always a thing with the yucky tasks too. Oh, well, then, whenever does that get comfortable, honestly? I kinda look away when they get a bit too kissy touchy in movies. Like, not to the point of being adult stuff, but, you know, just a couple makes out in the movie, a regular movie, and I'm always like, are they done? This is awkward. I don't want to see their private moment. This is private. That's a good point. Jill says, I like that no matter how old we are all at one time or another someone else's adultier adult. Yeah, there's really a point when it gets to like, am I really bothered that this is not stylish? Because it's freaking cold outside. That's always a like I'm always shocked when I see people going outside without hats. I'm like, but it's freaking cold. It's like minus 10 degrees. Like, I don't like having my head be cold. And I don't have like super thick hair that will keep me warm. So I'm like, the moment it gets to 5 degrees, I have a hat on, for sure. So when it gets to minus 10, I have my winter hat on. And I see people like, they don't want to ruin their hair. And I'm like, well, too bad. My hair is going to be whatever because I don't want to be cold. Hate the cold, yeah. And I don't think having a scarf on top of your ball cap is all that bad, honestly. I mean, all it says is that it basically implies that it's cold out, which is completely true, so. I tell my husband constantly we are moving to Texas. But why Texas, though? Maybe those people like their brain frozen, possibly. Or, you know, when you see, it's usually men, because it's the kind of coat that men wear. But, you know, the long, woolly, like, wool felt coat? They're, like, kind of long, and they have, like, a color a bit like a suit color. And it basically means when you wear it, it's like this, like, it's kind of open, and you have, like, one side that has the sort of color, and like that. Then shoulders, whatever. And I see men that wear that kind of stuff and they don't have a scarf on. And I'm like, how are you surviving this? Why are you not like in a ball of trying to warm yourself on the floor? What happened? I don't get it. I really don't enjoy being cold. Oh, it's not, but I live in a college town and the young kiddos judgy. Well, you can just look at them with mean glare and say, well, at least I'm not cold. Oh. Well, I hope it goes well, Lee. Doesn't sound like an easy ride, but men in anime wear them always. That's a good point. They always do. I see a lot of like business people wear that too. And I'm like, is it because they don't have that much to do? Like either they come in cars and then they go to the office and that's it. Or they commute but they live really near the station. So they're not gonna be outside for long. Like perhaps that's the reason, but I just can't do it. Not anymore, at least. There was a couple of times when I was younger where I really froze my butt off in the cold. But now I'm like, I will look like the Michelin tire man if I have to. I don't care. So far we haven't had snow, but I just have this feeling we're gonna get walloped later this year. Ugh. A cat with a Michelin coat. Well, it's not a coat, it's just a bunch of stacked tires. The downy coats, I'm not big on those. I understand that they're really good to layer and keep warmth, but I don't much go for that. Oh, I wanted to say, you know, my friend who's got Linus, the cat, she sent me a picture the other day, and it made me laugh so much, because it was a collage of pictures that her neighbor took of Linus in the window, because he likes to look outside, and the neighbor has a view of that window, and she took a bunch of pictures of Linus in the window, and it's really funny. Like, he's all stretched out, he's halfway, like, under the curtain, and, you know, he has his paws on the window, and you see all the extra toes and all of that. And I was like, aww. Kiddo is growing out to be a really nice cat. So handsome. Oh, you want me to show? Hold on. I'll have to fiddle with it a bit, but hold on. Okay, so I will switch to this for a sec. Hello! Hello, Pico! Boo-woo! Boo-woo! Boo-boo-boo! Ambiment! Ouais? T'es toute cute. Ah, there it is. Okay. How do I... Can I scale this up? I don't know if you can see, it's a bit hard to see, but you have some extra toes there. Can I get this any bigger? What? Why won't it let me? Can't. I don't know if you guys can see. I haven't visited him yet. We were supposed to go, but it was kind of difficult. The timing wasn't awesome. So we're supposed to go possibly soon. He's such a cute little boy. I don't know if he was on catnip, but let me add another one. Move this one here. Such a good kiddo. Ah, this one. It is so cute. Look at the sweet boy. Apparently he really likes to chill on that scratching thingy. You feel like Agnes from Despicable Me? Is it the it's so fluffy comment? Yeah, I am really glad I did the thing and sort of started the process of finding him a home. He's such a good cat, honestly. He's a really good kitty. Being outside was not for him. Such a good boy. He's growing up to be a really nice, you know, a big cat. He has his adulty features now. I love the stripy gingers. Can you have a ginger cat that is not stripy though? Or have some kind of tabby pattern? He's really, really cute. Right. Darn it. Okay. have so many notifications on my screen that I cannot go back to the actual scene. Good boy is handsome boy too. Yeah, he is. He gets along with the other cats, he plays a lot, he likes all the games. Like, whatever toy you bring to him, he will play with it. He likes food a lot. That's kind of funny. He's snuggly, likes to be with, you know, his humans. It's a good kiddo. Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad that Linus was really not gonna thrive as an outdoor cat, honestly. And then turns out that my friend adopted him, so it's like even better. I can get updates on him. Oh, I have pretty bratty cats too. Scott and Pico are really bratty. Might not show right now because she's cute and sleeping, but Pico is really annoying at night. The worst is still the tortie though. I mean, it's a tortie, so what can you expect? That was prior to adopting my uncle, who had him for 15 years. Oh, wow. So during the really short time he was outside, he had that much of a rough life. Yikes. Poor kitty. I love that the cat is named Dave. I don't know why. That's kind of cool. Whenever I get to the chance to go see Linus, I try to film a bit of footage of him so I can include it in a video or something. I'll try not to cry. I'm sure I will cry when I see him. Just out of happiness, or just out of being so happy to see him again. Both ears were notched. The left one twice. Ow, poor kitty. If your uncle had him for 15 years, he must have been what? A year or two when your uncle was adopted by him? That's a really tough life. I'm glad your uncle took him in. I forgot something that's really important. A tail. Kitty has a stubby tail. Because why not? I don't know if you can hear the dog barking outside. The vet said something between 2 and 5. Oh. So this needs to dry a bit before I can keep going. I will go get some water for painting. I'll be right back. Oh. Oh, I just realized it's a bit past 3. There's a bunch of video that were released at 3 today. For me 3, but I don't know what time it is for you. How is Sydney doing? Kitty, kitty, kitty. I'm so glad that Sydney found you, Patricia. Hey Val, welcome back. So just waiting for this to dry a bit. Yeep. How did the dog get out? She's thriving. Yay! Plays fetch, steals socks, loves her window perch. Wants to be wherever I am in the house. She's a total love. Oh, I'm so happy. This is such a great turn of events. But there looks like he belongs at Carnival. Yeah, he's probably waiting for the You know when you have these events where you have a bunch of floats and stuff that all travels in the streets and people can go watch it? The Carnaval de Québec is the one I'm talking about. It's in the winter in Quebec City. It's focused a lot around snow and ice. A parade? Is it really the same as French? Because it's parade in French as well. Oh, awesome. So yeah, you have to go wait. If you want to be able to see the the parade, you have to go wait kind of outside on the sidewalk, but outside in the winter. So everybody's all bundled up, and there are two sort of ornaments that they sell at the carnival. You have the trumpets that are really basically just like vuvuzelas, they sound the same. And they have the canes. And the concept of the canes is that they are hollow, and people keep spirits in there. So basically, a parade, all the adults end up drunk, and all the kids are like bored and frozen. Or in line for a beaver tail. Beaver tails. Oh, poor little Sydney. I still can't get over the fact that they're poor babies. Poor kitty. That's so hard. Oh my gosh. Whenever I get sucked in the websites about the shelters where they try to find homes for pets, oh, I get so sad. I try not to go too much because I get really sad. We steal words from everyone, then mangle the pronunciation. One of my favorite is niche. Whenever people say niche, I'm dead. I'm like, oh no. It is a very niche thing. And I'm like, yikes. Yikes. Like, niche is already kind of niche is okay then. Touche is a fun one. Trying to think what else. Bon appetit makes me laugh always. Niche. It's niche. Niche. That's it. Yeah, it's niche. It's basically N-I-S-H. Niche. Touché. Yeah, it is hard, isn't it, Patricia? Like, all this stuff, and so many pets, not necessarily cats. I mean, cats are probably one that relates, that I connect the most with, but any pets, whenever you hear about kill shelters, that's like, oh, how, why? I don't want to get into that, that's too sad. Let's go back to French words. Sachet. No, sachet. Versailles. 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 Want to go to Oh dear. Croissant is a fun one. There's a lot of them in food. Baguette. Sachet away. Oh yeah, Edinburgh, that's a... Well, most of the names of places, be it in Scotland or in England, there's always a couple of surprises. Australia also has a few surprises there. Like, you see the name and you're like, oh, okay. One of my favorite one, Gloucester? Like, what? What? Where? Melbourne in Australia. It's always like, you see the spelling of the word and you're like, but why did you spell it this way? Do you want people to mispronounce it? Because that's gonna happen if you spell it this way. No one's gonna know how to say it. Featherstone Hall ends up being pronounced as Fanshawe. Oh dear. Worcestershire. Isn't it? How do you say what looks like slow? Schle. I don't know. Voila, literally transcribed as voila. That's a fun one. Oh my gosh, that's something that cracks me up every time whenever something is taken from French and the person possibly did not realize it was from French and they wrote it like how it sounds. And I'm like, what? And then I say it out loud in my head and I'm like, oh no, it's this word. Slow. Oh man. It cracks me up. How do you say Birmingham? I think we already discussed it, but I can't remember that one. I don't know why, but all these English names of places remind me of the lumberjack French. Because we tend to mumble a lot, so they kind of all look a bit mumble. So, Sluow. Ow. Sluow. Why? Birmingham. So no H. There's an A sound in Slayer, basically. Oh man. Croissant. Yeah, if you say croissant too properly, they don't get it. You have to say croissant. Give me some croissant. And some brioche. Oh, that's not right. Fully crud. Smudgy McSmudge. Let's try the smaller one. Slough. I can't. I mean, we have some pretty unusual names for places here, like all the American Indian names. Things like Shibugamo and Mistassini and all that stuff, but it's pretty straightforward. I mean, you see the letters and you say the sound. There's not like an unsaid rule that certain sounds are pronounced and others not. Dan. Oh yeah, Creole is pretty weird. It's really, really strange because first of all, Creole, you have many versions of it. And it's not all the same Creole, it's different. And certain version of Creole have French in it, but it's really weird to listen to because you hear a person speaking and you're like, oh, they're speaking French. And then you try to sort of get what they're saying and you're like, I can't understand anything. And then you realize that it's Creole and it's just so weird because it's like if French was completely different but with the same sounds. And it's just so weird. I broke Dan. Well, for once that I'm not the one completely broken. I'll take it. Though, Otto, I don't know if you saw, but you broke me this week. When you sent me the crochet page with all the toilet covers on it. I was so dead. I was laughing so much. Hey, Kelly! Hi! Otto says, I sometimes feel like that when I hear heavy, oh dear, Glaswegian from Glasgow accent. Yeah, kind of the same. Like whenever I hear some dialects of French from other regions of Quebec as well, because other regions have their own accent. So you try to understand and you're like, I had no idea that I counted toilet covers. But it has so many of them. That's what killed me. There were so many of them. And like the full set, the toilet cover, the little rug that goes, you know, at the feet of the toilet because it has this space for the toilet on it, and then you have another rug to put at the sink, and then you have a thingy to put on the back of the toilet, and then you have a thingy to put on the roll of paper, and then you have another thingy to put on the stack of rolls next to it. And I was just like, this is insane! Give these guys something to do. They're at a loss. Do something. And then I laughed too because there were covers, like the oven cover was another one that kind of hurt a lot. Because if there is a place in the world where I would not put crochet on, it is the oven. I mean, can you imagine the hazard that would be? And some people had like covers for their rice cooker, and there were covers for everything. And I can't. Why? I guess I wasn't. Ellen says, clearly you weren't in my great-grandmother's bathroom in the 80s. She had that set, made it herself. Of course, you cannot buy that. You have to make it yourself. But I mean, wow. The thing is with toilets though, is you have to be able to clean this stuff. You never know when, I mean, anything. From people who can't aim in the toilet to the toilet clogging and spilling over. I can't. It just breaks my brain. Plastic canvas Kleenex. Oh dear. But why? Ew. That's pretty much what I thought. I was like, but gross. And I mean, if you have cats, you know where they will be sick. Definitely on the crochet rug you have in the bathroom. My nose itches. Stop itching. This is... I don't know why this takes so much time to dry on this stupid paper. Though, I think the boy pup probably has had his fair share of peeing on the floor. My thing was the dress people would knit for Barbie dolls. Then use the large skirt of the dress to cover the extra... Yes! Oh my gosh, yes! Oh, that is so weird. Like all these sort of Barbie dolls and knit or crocheted outfits. And then have a big poofy dress and there's a roll of toilet paper under there. Why? You just take it off and clean it though. Well, yeah, but the thing is, I don't know how easy it is. I don't know what kind of yarn they use. If they use cotton for this stuff, I guess it's fairly easy to clean. But sometimes they would use pattern like a really colorful yarn next to a white yarn. So you're like, is the dye gonna travel? How is it gonna shrink when you wash it? I mean, regular covers and rugs are probably made so that you can toss them in the wash. But the crochet stuff, I really don't know. Oh, I had a bunch of Barbie outfits in crochet. It always made me laugh a bit because it would be so bulky. But that doesn't bother me. It's just the fact that someone thought to use a Barbie and an outfit to cover up a roll of toilet paper. Like, what's so offensive about a roll of toilet paper? Tell me. Oh, no, the crocheted clothes are fine. I had really cool crochet outfits for my Barbies when I was a kid, and I really liked them. They were they were different, you know, but yeah, it was always interesting to put the one outfit I can think of. It had bloomers with you know, like an underskirt kind of thing, and then that was white, and it had a dress crocheted that would go on top of that. So it looked, and she has a hat, and I think there was a purse. It was really nice. It was a really cool set, but it was always funny for me as a kid to realize that, you know, there's a scale issue with Barbie clothes regardless of what they are, because actual fabric on the scale of Barbie wouldn't look like our fabric. So everything is always a bit weird, like everything is too stiff, too thick, doesn't really flow like clothes would. And that was really visible with crochet stuff, but I loved it. Well, that's cool. A Bender toilet roll cover. Oh, wow. What did you miss about crochet? We're talking about the toilet kits still. And Ellen mentioned how some people merge that idea with a Barbie, like to crochet or knit the Barbie's dress so that it would cover the toilet roll and hide the toilet roll. Because we all know toilet rolls are so offensive. Brush. Brushy brush brush. What size of brush do I want to use? Yeah, I think you would put the legs of the Barbie in the roll. I think. I wonder if that was the case, or if they would get like the bootleg Barbies that are really hollow and just remove the legs. Yep, the legs. The legs of the Barbie were too long for the roll, so they removed the legs. Oh, that's so wrong. That's even worse. That's troubling. I love Barbies. I have a few of them. We've already talked about Barbies before anyway. But I don't think that you were meant to use the roll under the Barbie. It was serving the purpose of a crinoline. A crinoline holding the skirts out. Oh. That's kind of weirder. I don't know why. Yep, schminke. Hey, Anastasia, hi. Well, you can make a Barbie crinoline. That's pretty easy. And taffeta, any kind of that kind of fabric is really inexpensive too. Yeah, tulle. Tulle is really inexpensive. Oh man, Ellen, please share the that link on the Discord server. Man, I'm always in for a good Barbie collection. Find it fascinating. The cheap hollow plastic one were like the dollar store ones. Those were really weird. I remember one year when I was a kid, my cousin, she was not that much older than I am. But she was still, like, when I was a kid, she was a teenager and all of that. And I think one year for my birthday, she had it she found a way to have a seamstress, that was in the 90s, so a seamstress made a neon fleece pajama for me, and they also made the same pajama for a Barbie doll. So I had my pajama and my Barbie could have their pajamas as well. It was the same. That was a really nice gift. But yeah, it came, the doll's pajama came on one of those hollow weird Barbies, and it was always like not weirded out, but it was always a really peculiar one, because I kept thinking, like, why is it like that? Why did they make this one like hollow and soft so I can sort of fold her any way I want? This is weird. The cheap hollow plastic ones were shorter, and those were the ones we always saw at the church craft rummage sales. Yeah. Yeah, we're talking about the toilet paper, I guess. Mostly covers of toilet paper. When people knit or crochet stuff to put over the toilet paper. Oh, yeah. I am not of the mindset that Barbies are terrible toys for girls. I think it's more dependent on the context upon which the kid sees their Barbie dolls. I had a few and I really loved them, so there. They never made me feel self-conscious or anything. It was just like, well, this is a doll and I have clothes for her and this is pretty fun. That's it. Hey, Mallory! Hi! I didn't say hi. Mallory says, I love when clothes on dolls reflect real fashion. I worked in a museum and found a doll from 1840. Her clothes follows 1840s fashion. Her Honda clothes were accurate too. That's pretty cool. Oh, the knit covers for toilets are really unhygienic. Well, in my opinion. Unless, like, no one ever uses that toilet. Like, say you have a guest bathroom and no one uses it. I'm like, fine. But aside from that, bleh. Looking for a brush and I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's weird. Why is Discord doing that? Doesn't have an issue with that usually. Oh. There's quite a few artists that are colorblind, and it's pretty interesting. I mean, being able to process color properly, I guess, is always handy, but I mean, no one says that art has to be made with colors. You can do black and white. You can do sculpture. Yeah, doodle dates, or just ink and wash. Like, I'm fairly sure that usually people with any level of color blindness can still differentiate between something that is very light and something that is very dark. Even though people are colorblind, I've heard they can still tell you what color something is because they've learned to differentiate between different shades of gray. Yeah, that's pretty cool. The perception of color is something that I find really fascinating in general because, well, anything that relates to how the eye works, that's fascinating. That's the only part in high school of the way our physics teacher taught the class. That's the only part that I enjoyed. I really hated how he taught classes. That dude. His big idea was to have us learn on our own because that way we would retain the information better. And I wanted to punch him because I was like, that works for certain people, but it doesn't work for everybody. And especially with something like physics, if you have difficulty imagining things in a 3D fashion, it's really helpful to have a teacher who can explain it to you rather than telling you to figure it out on your own. I was always like, what are you paid for? Mean words make mean words. Was really not fond of that. Also, I was working... It was kind of weird for that class because I ended up in a group where none of my friends were in the same group as I. Oh dear, oh no. Oh no, Phoebe. But yeah, so the guy I was sort of in a team with, it was a bit like leftover situation. And he told me straight to my face that he didn't like gingers. Like, he didn't like red hair. And I was like, well, that's fine, but why are you telling me when you can clearly see that I am a redhead, and I don't really care what you like or don't like, but that's kind of a rude thing to do, isn't it? And I was like, I don't care, just bugger off. I don't know why he didn't like ginger. He was a weird guy. He was like, oh, I really find ginger hair ugly. And I was like, okay, fine. Who gives a rat's ass about that? I mean, honestly. It was a bit of a weird dude. Well, obviously. I have no idea what he meant. Your face is ugly. I didn't have much repartee back then because I was a kid, and when you're a kid, my main reaction to stuff like that was to be confused and trying to process them, like trying really hard to find a context in which that kind of stuff makes sense, and that usually accounts for a bit too much time to be able to be witty about it. Like, I don't particularly like mean guys, but I'm not telling that to your face, so just, I don't know, just play nice. It's just for a class. Who cares? Ugh. Anyway. I've met some odd people. Not that many, but I feel like the few I've met were fairly odd. Like, if it was a joke, it didn't seem like a joke at the time. It didn't felt like one. It's kind of not funny, so don't bother. Like, what? Why would you? It's not funny, dude. And if it's not a joke, then who cares what you think? Oh, the thing with black cats. So stupid. Either people who don't get black cats because of superstition, or people who get black cats just for pranks for Halloweens. Like, what? Otto says, I'm coming to the conclusion that there's actually a lot more weird people than non-weird people in the world. Yep. Yep, yep. No, black cats are really cute. Is it a Scottish cat? Are you? I'm not Scottish, I'm French Canadian. This is a French Canadian cat. This is a lumberjack cat. What? Oh, whoa, Phoebe, that's weird. A cat is a cat. The color really doesn't change all that much. Unless it's a tortoise shell. Because for some reason tortoises are particularly temperamental. But it's still just a color. It doesn't affect what the cat will do. It's still gonna be a cat. Oh, yeah, that's another weird thing, Otto. That's... Black cats are just vaguely cat-shaped blobs of darkness and cuteness. Oh. They're basically just a blob of fur with 2 eyes set in the blob of fur. And 2 pointy things at the top. A good horse is any color. Yeah, the same goes for cats. Cats, cats, cats. It's just a cat. Any cat is a good cat. Oh yeah, that's gotta be kind of unsettlingly. The blob of darkness thing is true though. How far back are you French Canadian? Hey Destiny, by the way. Hi, it's been a while. On my dad's side, as further back as possible, I think. On my mom's side, my mom is French. But I've been born and raised in Canada, so I've always just experienced the French Canadian life. So in terms of upbringing, it's very French Canadian. In terms of lineage, it's mixed. But yeah, on my dad's side, it's pretty hard to... I mean, at some point we had to come from France because every French Canadian somehow kind of... because they sent French people to Canada, so... But yeah, they go pretty far back. She's washing her paw now. Péco, pourquoi tu te lèves tout le temps le popotin pendant un live stream? She's washing her belly right now. Oh, that's awesome, Amisha. Aw, cutie pie. My little donut kitty. Cool, we have some in our family history too. But I can speak it with a complete and fully throated Western Canadian accent. English or French? Remind yourself, Amisha, that if something doesn't go as planned, you can always find a way to fix it. And if you are at a loss for what to do, you can always ask us. We will help you figure it out, of course. On the Discord, I mean. It would be hard in chat, but Discord people are pretty resourceful. Val says it's the year 3015. Humanity wiped itself out for not caring about climate change. Now all that roams are fat cats and dogs on segways. Yep, I agree. That would be what happened. French, meaning I can make any native French speaker wins in less than a sentence. Aww. It's not that bad. I mean, I think that there's a lot of that happens with French Canadians when they try to speak English. Because not everyone here learns English or how to speak English on the same level. It's weird. I find it really weird because I'm like, how did you manage to grow up and not figure out some sort of English? But yeah, a lot of people cannot really put together sentences that work in English, which is always weird to me. Hey Ev, is it hard being a self-employed artist? It is. I got no job right now. I got no money. I got nothing but paints, which is, you know, better than nothing. I find it really hard to figure out, and as proof of that, I haven't figured it out yet. But you can ask other people in there, like Lee is a self-employed artist. No, not really. It's productive school French. I'm personally of the idea that any French is better than no French. But it really depends on where you go. I always find it a bit rude, a tiny bit rude, when people travel to places where they don't necessarily speak the language and they don't learn a few of the really basic phrases. Like, just something like, hi, please, thank you, and, you know, where's the bathroom, can I have water? Just a couple of things that are really basic, but it's kind of insulting whenever you get into the service industry and you work in a place, let's say you work in downtown Montreal, where you have a lot of tourists, and a tourist comes in and is basically pissed at you because you do not speak very good English. And I'm always like, well, you came to Quebec. Our official languages is first is French and then English, because Montreal is really like diversified. So I'm like, I mean, you should be thankful that the person is willing to try to speak English to you, since you didn't bother learning it, any of the French. I mean, what? Yeah, I think it's like that in many places. If you try, if you make an attempt, at least you tried. There's nothing personally as bad as witnessing someone that didn't even try. That gets me. At least when people try and possibly don't get it really well, it sort of shows an awareness that they are fully aware of the situation. Like, they realize that they are a stranger in a place that doesn't necessarily speak their language. And yeah, and I see it sometimes, like whenever I interact with people, I'm always like, I can speak both, so whenever I see them struggle, I was like, would you prefer to talk in English? But the fact that they tried means everything. Yeah, especially please and thank you. It's basic stuff. Oh my gosh, come on. Yeah, but you tried. It's a lot can be said for trying. It's like, I appreciate that you try speaking in French, but perhaps it would be easier to communicate if we did it in English. That's what it means, basically. It's like, I will adapt to whatever is easier, but I appreciate and I'm thankful for the fact that you tried. A lot of people in the service industry, like waitresses, waiters, people who work in shops, they don't necessarily speak English around here. It happens. It's weird in Montreal, personally, I think, but it happens. I'm like, you cannot just assume that you will be fully understood wherever you go. That's rude. I find that rude. This assumption that you don't need to bother because wherever you go, people are gonna understand you. I'm like, what? Are you for real right now? She's not making enough money to be bilingual for you, even if she happens to be making effort. Yeah, or just sometimes it's stuff like instead of going straight away to English whenever, I don't know exactly, but I feel like if a waiter or waitress shows up and is like, especially in Montreal, let's say they address to you in French first. And they say, bonjour, vous allez bien, est-ce que je peux prendre votre commande, or whatever, tu sais. The fact just to ask first, like, oh, do you speak English? I'm sorry, do you speak English? Like, instead of just going on full English right away. It's like, just, dude, establish some sort of relationship first. Hey, Crafty Kitty, hi. It is really important to try. That's what I personally think. Oh, I hope you have fun, Lee. Bye. Enjoy the baby shower. Ah, thank you so much for being here, Otto. And say hi to Jazz for us. Our favorite ginger bum. Aw, little Jazz. She's so cute. Val, I think you got it there. Have a more steady job, like something more reliable, and keep art as a secondary source of income, at least until you build up enough connection, enough relationships that the work you would get through art would be enough to pay for all your expenses. I think that's the intelligent way to go. Oh, thank you so much for being here, Amisha. I hope you have a great weekend, everyone who is leaving. Mallory says, I went to Quebec when I was 13 for a class trip. I remember being impressed that all the shop attendants spoke English. I did not assume they would. I couldn't speak French at all, so I was lucky. Yeah, it's quite possible if you go to a really touristy place, because they will probably hire people who speak both languages, hopefully. I've seen it sometimes in Montreal where they would hire someone who only speaks English. And I'm always a bit disheartened at that. I'm like, oh. I like that this province has 2 languages. I'm always bummed whenever I see them. I completely ignore one of 2. I mean, I think the official language is French, but realistically, Montreal has both English and French as the most used languages. Maybe it's an issue with the internet connection for the dip in quality. That can happen. Oh, you're just 14, Val. Don't worry about it so much for now. That's the thing that schools do that's not really helpful, is to really ask you early on to make decisions when you haven't really experimented with stuff. Like, how can you say at 14, 15 what you want to do as a job later? Like, you might have interests, but there's nothing you've put to the test. And I think at 14 you cannot even have like a summer job yet. I think well, I don't know for other countries, but I think in Canada it's like 16. So, like, do you want to choose science? Do you want to... I'm like, whoa, I don't know. We have to take French from grade 3 to 9, yet almost no one speaks French in southeastern Ontario. Huh. Southeastern. You're not too far from Quebec, too. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people going into college still don't know what they want to do. I agree, Phoebe. And it's kind of weird. It's really unhelpful because, well, I don't know what it is nowadays, but I remember being in school, the people who give you work advice, they didn't grow up in the same situation than we ended up growing. Yeah, maybe back then it was possible to have a career that would last your whole life. Nowadays, it's not exactly like that. You might have many jobs throughout your life, and that's fine. I just hope you guys won't get another 2008, another super crash. Ugh. Thanks, but no thanks. The good thing with art nowadays is that you have a lot of resources available online. Like, I went to graphic design and then 2D animation, and sure, I learned things over there, but the bulk of what I kept is either stuff I learned on the job, technically, or stuff that you can possibly find online. And there's a lot of issues that came from studying in art that I'm still struggling with. So I hear often a lot of people, they consider their situation is more like they feel like they should have kept art a hobby. And some people work in art and they're perfectly happy with that. So it really depends. And I don't think it's fair to assume that you would know that at 14. The only thing I would possibly tell you to keep in mind is to try to always have fun with art. If you get to a point where art is no longer enjoyable, that's not great. That's not where you want to be. Do what you enjoy, not what puts food on the table. That's such a stupid piece of advice. Context is, Dan says, I hate careers advice. Schools always say, do what you enjoy, not what puts food on the table. Maybe that was possible 40 years ago. Nowadays? Dude. Some people can find that, but it's not easy, and it's not really fair, in my opinion, to put that level of expectation on someone right at the beginning. Because let's say you don't really know what you like. You try something and you're like, I'm not enjoying this, but I should, because they tell me you gotta do what you enjoy, and I thought I would enjoy this, so why don't I enjoy it? And it messes with your brain. So really, you can have a job that puts food on the table and a hobby that you enjoy, and that's perfectly fine too. And you can cater your job to give you the time for your hobby. Like, try to find something that won't have overtime, or that you will not work nights, possibly, so that you can fully enjoy doing what it is that you enjoy doing as a hobby. and not be worried about stuff like rent and eating and all of that. Art can be a real job, but it's really, really hard, so you gotta do what you can. You changed so much in your late teens, early 20s, yeah. Yep. Oh my gosh. Mallory says, you do have to consider what you will be able to find a job in. People used to say to me, just get a degree in anything, it doesn't matter what it is. Not true. Nowadays, very much not true. And it's kind of really shocking at times. Like, even what would have been considered an entry-level job, sometimes they require like experience, and you're like, how do you expect someone who is straight out of school to have experience doing the job that they just learned how to do? Like, how is that supposed to work? And I don't think it's really sad that it's like that. I'm really glad for your friend Ellen. That's really cool. I know a couple of people who do art for a living and they manage. But yeah, you have to compromise at some point, because you are not necessarily your own employer if you get deals or if you do contracts. So if they ask you to draw something and that's not your favorite thing to draw, you still have to do it. But to just go like, I want to draw and live from whatever I draw, that's difficult. And it's really something that people should have perspective on, possibly, because it happens, but it's not everyone. Definitely. Okay, so what color should this cat be? It's the only thing I have left to do, is color the cat. Oh yeah, definitely. Ellen says she also is really savvy when it comes to business, and that is probably far more valuable for her. Yeah. Anyone that is business savvy can have any business. I mean, it doesn't have to be art, it can be anything, if you understand how business works. Yes, this is the Canadian take on Puss in Boots. Somewhat. Oh, good luck, Cleo. Have fun foraging. Have a great weekend. And thank you for being here. I think I'm gonna paint it gray. Gray cat. A gray kitty. Greek kitties. I love Greek kitties. I had one as a kid. My kitty when I was growing up was a Greek kitty. He was a really good kitty. Hey, thank you, Anastasia. Thank you so much. He has a hat. Like I said, it's the Canadian Puss in Boots. He has the winter boots, brand that is very well known here. He has the belt is something we call a ceinture fléchée. It's a really local thing as well. He has the buffalo plaid shirt. Instead of a sword, he has another local carnival trumpets that's basically a vuvuzela. Same thing, same sound. And he has the beaver fur hat because it's cold outside. Oh, Smokey. Yeah, I'm in the same situation. I love that cat so much. Find a niche. We come back around to the niche word. That's the way you can succeed in art, is if you really have catered to a specific audience's needs. And I know of absolutely nobody who went the route of like starting there. Everybody was doing art as a hobby first, and when it grew to a certain level, they realized that they could focus on that and like drop the rest, and it would still be livable. I know of 0 stories of someone who just went like, I want to do my art. You need to have a following first for it to be livable, because you need people to buy your stuff. So if you got no one to sell it to, you're not gonna make a lot of money. And you need a certain minimum to be able to pay for expenses and, you know, life stuff. Do those beaver hats exist for real? I think they do. It's been a while since I've been in the like the touristy shops and all of that, but I think they exist. I don't know if they have the tail, but definitely beaver fur hats. They are a thing. Pretty sure my dad has one. My dad used to crack me up so much. Back when I was a kid, he would work. His workplace was not super far from home, like a couple of minutes biking. So he would usually go to work on a bike. But the thing is how do you bike in the winter when there's snow everywhere? And even in Quebec in the winter, it used to be that the snow doesn't melt to the asphalt ever in the winter. So he MacGyvered his own bike. He took apart the tires of a bike. He screwed in screws with the tip pointing outwards, and he put the tire back in, and he put the tire, well, the rubber thingy inside of the tire and back on the bike, and he would go to work on his bike with the spikes, wearing the most like old school Canadian coat you could possibly think of. It's called the name of the coat in French is un Canadien, which is basically a Canadian. And he had the fur hat on, and he would go to work like that. And I was like, I don't think there's a thing more Canadian than that I've ever seen here. Made me laugh so much. Raccoon Thu, yeah. Though I think over here it's beaver a lot. Oh, that's awesome, Ellen. Ellen says, the artist friend I have started out selling your own skincare lines. some artists thrive off by doing commissions for the most relevant anime or cartoon at the time. Yeah, but you need to have an audience first. Like, even if you advertise that you do commissions for whatever, if you reach no one with that, you're not gonna sell any commissions. And usually the way to reach out these people first is to do a lot of fan art. So you have to work toward building up a platform where a lot of people follow your work, and then you can possibly go the route of commissions. And like, you have to build it up first. Scout managed to scratch her eyeline. I can't believe it. She still has problem with her allergies, and she has a scratch, not on the eyeball, I think, hopefully, but just below it, just on the eyeline. And she has another scratch on her ear that she keeps scratching off the scab. What am I supposed to do with her? Poor kitty, she's so dumb. She doesn't know any better. She's like, oh, that itches, I'm gonna scratch it. How? It hurts. Oh well. We're always talking about cats and dogs, but what else? We love hamsters. We talk about jazz a lot. There's a few of the people in there that have hamsters. It's just that we are a very cat-centric community, but all pets are great. That's really hard. You're right, Phoebe. Phoebe says that's hard when they don't know any better and hurt themselves. That's exactly the thing. It's like, no matter how much I tell her, like, don't scratch yourself. First of all, she doesn't understand me one bit. She hears and it itches. What is she supposed to do? Like, everything in her tells her, like, when something itches, you scratch it. The end. There's no buts, there's no like exceptions or whatnot. It itches, I scratch. The end. So I am worried that one day she will scratch her eyeball. Not just because of what happened recently, but it's a worry that I've had for quite some time. And when I saw that she had scratched her eyeline, I was like, or waterline? Waterline, I think is the word. I was like, oh no, don't do that. They're so silly, poor pets. I don't know if that would help, putting a cone on her for a time each day. Maybe if I could get, not necessarily a cone, but the kind of colors that you inflate like a balloon in it, and it doesn't have a cone per se, but it's like a big thick color that they cannot really reach their face. That would possibly be more bearable for her, but she wouldn't like it. I have a cream. The vet gave us a cream for allergies, but she removes it. It's like there's no, like, even when we distract her, like sometimes the vet told us you put the cream on and then you time it so that it's just before they get something to eat. So you put the cream, you give her food, and she forgets about the cream, but she doesn't forget about the cream. Hey, thank you so much for being here, Tobias. Have fun walking the puppy. Feel free to join the Discord if you're not there already. I'm almost done with my painting, so I might as well promote the Discord while at it. It's a platform where we sort of get together and keep discussions going throughout the week. And it's pretty fun. We have all sorts of themes over there and channels for talking. It's a really simple app. It's free. You basically create your account and you join up and you can talk. And if you have any questions, there's a bunch of people there that can help you. It's really, really simple, and it's a lot of fun. We talk about art, we talk about pets, we talk about all sorts of yarn work like knitting, crochet. Puss in Sorrel. YouTube really doesn't like Puss, even if it's in the context of Puss in Boots, which is what its name. It's not Cat in Boots, it's Puss in Boots, because it... Anyway. Oh yeah, I can understand that they would hate the taste of Vaseline. It's pretty gross. I might try it. I don't think I have any Vaseline in here, but... The thing is that you never quite know, like, you're told to expect something from your pets within a certain range, and so far nothing that we've been told about the certain range of certain behaviors has happened for our cats. It's always like really bad or really off or really weird for a second. It's just like whenever they tell you that giving pill to a pet is difficult, I don't think I've ever seen someone as difficult to give pills to than Pico. The Discord, the link is in the description under the video. So you just have to click on there. It's the invite to the Discord, and either it will ask you to create an account or it will connect you to the Discord straight away if you already have Discord. Oh, thank you, Dan. Thank you so much. So, is there any... Oh, I want to mention something. Maybe not right away, because most of us have just been to this stream, which has been pretty long. But a bunch of us, so there's Lana, Dan, Anya, Conan, and myself. We put out videos about our top 10 favorite supplies for the year. So that can be pretty... I'm really excited to watch the other vids. But yeah, so if you are interested in learning more about maybe stocking stuffers, socks, is that the word? Like extra little bits to put into gifts for the holidays. Financial debt, Vaseline. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. So Val says, I grew up with Vaseline being the answer to everything. A mosquito bite, put Vaseline on it. A sore throat, put Vaseline on your neck. In financial debt, Vaseline. That's hilarious. Can you imagine? Flat tire, Vaseline. Fire, Vaseline. It just, you know, it doesn't make sense, which is why I find it so funny. So, yeah. Okay, back to the serious stuff. So, yeah, at some point, if you want to enjoy like a bunch of videos around the same theme and be pretty chill about it, I think that's going to be a really fun one. And Dan is posting the links right now. And I think every video should have the links to the other videos in the description. So you can really hop from one video to the other by checking the description and clicking the next link, which is super fun. We should really do more like that. I really enjoyed this Angry Cat Vaseline. Okay, so that was the other thing, and is there anything else I wanted to mention today? I think that's it. So, yeah, I hope you guys will have a great weekend. It's been super fun again. I'm really thankful that you decided to spend part of your Saturday with me and the rest of us and Pico. So I hope you have a great weekend. Be careful if you have snow. And yeah, that's it. Have a great weekend, everyone. Take care. Bye bye. Do you want to say bye, Pico? Do you want to say bye? She says moo.